This is the DC Collectibles, DC Artist Alley, Harley Quinn, Dave the Dead GameStop exclusive statue. Inspired by the popular comic convention experience, DC Artist Alley is an artist-focused, limited edition designer vinyl figure line that merges indie design with the most iconic characters in the DC universe. For artist Hainanu, Nooligan, Saulque is an artist, comic creator, and graphic designer based in Sacramento, California. From the cartoons of his youth to the films he missed by decades, from Golden Age comics to classic newspaper strips, you'll find a creator who has immersed himself in what he loves. So let's figure out how tall the Harley Quinn statue is, taking it to the very top of her jester hat. There we go. The statue stands at 7.2 inches, or in centimeters, you're looking at 18.3. To show you how she stacks up with the other statues that we had to look at, there's Batman, there's the Joker, there's the trio side by side in their GameStop exclusive Day of the Dead color scheme. Like with the other two statues, she comes included with the card here, although my card slightly is a little bent just by the way it was packaged inside. But it's almost like a business card material that they've used for it. On the front is Harley Quinn, which would be the same illustration as the standard release and the black and white release. I don't think this changes other than just for the fact that it's got the Day of the Dead color motif on there. Down below we've got DC Artist Alley and then Nooligan right next to that. And here are the three corresponding illustrations with each of the corresponding statues. Each one of them have their, like I said, their cards, which I probably will end up displaying when I put these ones on display. I'm almost considering putting their corresponding cards behind each of them. So at least you have like a source material. When you look at the statues, you can kind of see the illustrations in which they're based from. Getting a look at Harley Quinn now in statue form. I really like this one. I don't know if I would say I like her as much as the Joker, but I really do like the pose that they put her in. She's wielding a bat, which even has its own Day of the Dead deco that's been painted on the end of it. She's also kind of sort of pointing off to the distance, as if indicating maybe to the audience or Mr. J whereabouts she's going to be swinging the bat, kind of almost like a baseball sort of a pose there. When was asked about the specific design, Nooligan said, "I want Harley Quinn's pose to stand out as much as she does." And I think that can definitely be agreed upon. I really do like her pose. A swinging pose certainly could have worked as well, but I like, you don't really see Harley Quinn often pose like this in which she's kind of pointing out and she's kind of indicating where she's going to be swinging the bat there. Having a look at her face, now here we get a little bit more of the Day of the Dead treatment. If I just go ahead and grab the card and not drop my little baggie there on the side. The card itself doesn't look like it deviates that much away from what we got here with the Day of the Dead release. The eyes seem to be the same color. The lips, perhaps, you could say it's the same color, although this one has some additional panel lining that's been added to it. Primarily, most of it is kind of layering over top of it. It doesn't seem like her colors are that much different. Batman's, on the other hand, was different, as well as Joker's. They didn't quite have the same color scheme. Harley Quinn's a little bit closer. I guess it's one of those things you really wouldn't want to play around too much with the palette here of Harley Quinn, just because she does have conventional red and black alternating colors, and that has always worked well for this particular outfit. I guess you could have changed it out slightly, but stick with what works. So having a look at her face, like I said, the eyes, there's not going to be a whole lot of changes happening there. She's got some nice artwork that's been added now to the sides of her cheeks. Sort of a rosy sort of flower deco. And she's also got something actually right below her lip. It looks like it could be also a flower. I believe these little trimmings here around her eyes are also been added. as the original standard release wouldn't have had that. Once again, I really like how she's got one large eye and one small eye. I don't know why I like that so much, but all of the characters that have been released under the Artist Alley lineup here, under these figures, these statues, have all had that same treatment. Got some nice coloring there. Added are additional bones that have been added to kind of the same way that Batman's had, where he's got it on his cape. Instead, she's got it here on the Jester hat. That carries its way down to the collared portion of her outfit. Got the bones also across her arms. I'm not sure if it's intentional, but I noticed that some of the bones sort of have the appearance of chipped away paint. You get a little bit here happening on the top there. Again, it could be just simply the case where it's just paint that's been chipped away. I don't think it was intentional. A stylized representation, but sort of giving you the idea of where logical bones would be if you had an X-ray here of Harley. We're spending so much time really like looking at the bones that don't really want to take away from what the initial sculpt would have been. I really do like these little wrinkles and stuff. Stuff I really didn't talk about too much when we look at when we had a look at the Batman and the Joker. It's all these little small nuances that I really do like. That DC puts into their statue releases. Even like, just like where the natural outfit would have, like she's twisted, so you got a little bit of that twist showing here on the bunched up fabric. And of course, right down, much like the Batman and the Joker, she's sporting a pair of like unnamed basketball sneakers. Here it's different though, because she does have the same skulls, but they're alternating the color corresponding with the alternated color of the shoes. Same actually said for the bones too. The bones are white here and they're black on this side. I like that alternated, because they really could have put the white on this side too, but I like that they've gone black instead. She's a really fun figure. Again, it would warm up my interest to pick up another one of these, like the standard release of these. Also, the black and white looks intriguing as well. The hard part, though, is that this is probably, well, the black and white is the most rarest. It's 500 units, so they're going to be a little harder to come by. The Day of the Dead ones that we're looking at, or have been looking at over the course of the 3 reviews here, they're going to be limited to 1,500 pieces. By the way, speaking of 1,500, here's the display base that she comes included with, and you've got the 1,500 listed. This just happens to be an artist proof, because this was supplied by DC Collectibles out of the 1,500 very scarce, limited quantity that these statues are in. But I really like the Harley Quinn here. I think my favorite, though, I have to admit, is the Joker. There's just something really neat about the Joker. I think Joker lends itself better, or the character lends itself better to the Day of the Dead treatment. He's already sort of a clown by now incorporating the that little scroll decorations that the Day of the Dead are known for. It is really nice. It does look good on Joker, and I think he just has a very open, welcoming face sculpt that works well for this additional treatment that they put on him here. Just going like this because I noticed that there's a little bit of paint. I think there might have been a little paint that scraped off or chipped off the top of his head. But of the 3, yeah, I think my favorite of the 3 is the Joker. There's the Batman right there. Like I said, looking at the 3 of these, I would definitely want to pick up the standard releases of them. The black and white's probably will be a little harder to come by. I might see if I can pick them up online. Like I said, I really do like the Nooligan design. This, I guess, technically is like the 4th review that I've had a look at his design, being that I've already looked at also at the bookcase, the bookends, which essentially had like these designed characters, just of course halved. Batman was in the half, you split them out, and Harley Quinn and Joker was on either side. So, not necessarily a stranger to his designs, being that this is the 4th time I've had a look at some of his releases, but I think it lends well to statue form. By the way, as well, speaking of statue form, big thanks also as well to the sculptor, Paul Harding. I know a lot of times looking at these designer releases, a lot of times you give the credit to the original illustrator or the original drawing in which these are taken from. but it still takes somebody from a DC Collectible team to translate these well to statues. And I definitely do think that Paul Harding did a good job of translating essentially like this design to this statue, in this case the one for Harley Quinn, which again I'm a little disappointed that the card is a little on the bent side, but probably will end up finding myself displaying them with the cards behind them. So like I was saying, like these are a little on the harder to come by side of things because you're having to first of all look and source out a GameStop. Not all the GameStops may have these availability in stock because they're also limited to 1,500 pieces. So you may have a lot to work against you. You may have to do a little extra legwork to pick these up, but I really would highly recommend them. I do want to get my hands on the standard releases at the very least. I don't think the chances of me getting the black and white, they're probably slim to none, but I definitely want to get my hands on the standard releases because I do really like Nooligan's designs. This happens to work exceptionally well leading up to, of course, October, leading, of course, up to Halloween, my favorite holiday of the entire year, which I could see these ones making some appearances not only this year, but the years that will follow as well. Today we were having a look at the DC Collectibles DC Artist Alley. This was the Hainanu, Nooligan, Saulque, DC Artist Alley, Harley Quinn, Dave the Dead. That's a whole mouthful. Like I said, if you guys haven't had a chance to pick these ones up, at the very least, I would say try to source out and get the standard releases if you can. But I think of the standard releases compared to these ones, I like these ones a little bit more just because they got like the more, like I said, the more Halloween sort of look to them. And I really like that. If you guys haven't had a chance to hit that little subscribe button down below, what are you waiting for? We're going to have some more videos coming your way, even though we've technically wrapped up our looks at the DC Artist Alley. There's not to say that there's not going to be more videos coming your way, so keep your eyes peeled. Never like saying that. Also, make sure you head over to the homepage and check out the videos section while you're there. See if there's any videos or reviews that you may have missed along the way. As always, guys, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.